Hey, Erica Badu style. Let me tell you, whoa, whoa. Hey, and let me tell you, like, whoa. Hey. Whoa. Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know what it is. Go on ahead, grab your fam. Go on ahead, grab your kids. Go on, grab your enemies. Go on and grab your friends. It's about time to talk about what goes on in the biz. And it don't sound right in the replay, but we stay back every week, no delay. We may talk about some things that you know about or go about. Even if you don't, there's no drought. We know about all of the good stuff, the hood stuff. Let's get it on, stop it and stuff. Hey, I know that it sounds weird because like in the playback, it always is offbeat. So I know it probably sounds like that in real time. But either way, what's going on, folks? Y'all already know what it is. It is your boy, the real Vince Taylor, back to talk on this geek stuff. And I don't know if you heard the news, but Acolyte has been canceled. Now look, I already know what you're thinking. So what? Big deal. We ain't like the show. No way. It was trash. But I'm here to tell you I have feelings about this, man. I don't know what it is, but for me, I just have this sneaky suspicion that the Acolyte cancellation, in addition to possibly maybe not necessarily being the 100% best production in the entire world, maybe not the best script, maybe not the best acting, but still, I don't know, man. I feel like there's a place to move forward. I feel like we are a little too cancel happy, too no second season happy. There's no room for a show to build, to grow, to get better. But maybe that's just me. Maybe just as a fan of Star Wars. Or is it that maybe Star Wars is being usurped and man, the masses up in Disney Towers are just squeezing all of the money out of this orange? I don't know. It could be something like that. But either way, let's discuss on why that's happening, because in my opinion, man, I just feel like there may have been more of a future for it. What you think? And there's a couple other things going on out in the world as well. Of course, the Rings of the Lord of the Rings has actually got a anime coming out, which actually looks fairly decent. We might show the preview on that. There's also a video game called Marvel Rivals pulling up in December. Looks like One Piece season 2 is about to come back with a slew of new characters that we recognize. And yeah, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on, man. But I ain't gonna lie, my heart is really right here on this story about Acolyte. So let's go ahead and chat on it. Hopefully y'all are going well. What's going on, Lorena? What's going on in the comments? Let's go ahead and kick it off. I am your boy, the real Vince Taylor. It is me flying solo this morning, and I am joined by you, the viewer, the crowd, the comment section. So hopefully we can have us a good old time this morning. What's going on? It's the new blurred order.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Whoa. Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except now I got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass pistol with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean so he always got hoes. Light skinny bitches like.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
And if you don't, why don't you? Tighten up. What's going on, y'all? So here's the deal, man. I'm going to go ahead and you might not see as much of me. I'm going to show a lot of slides this morning and talk over them. And I need your assistance because I am an interactive dude. So please pull on up in the comment section. I see you, Lorraine. I see you, Miss Diafreak. And see, you ain't gonna get me to pronounce the names all wrong. And I see you, Nariz. I see everybody over there. I see y'all pulling up from Twitter. I see Twitch. Oh, well, Twitter, we ain't on Twitter no more. I see you on YouTube. I see the Facebooks. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. So let's just have a quick, honest conversation. Can we have an honest conversation? Just me, you. Let's look in each other's eyes and let's talk for a couple minutes. All right. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't know that Acolyte has its problems. I'm not gonna sit there and act like I don't know that Star Wars has its problems. I get it. I get that Disney is now the head, and I just like in the South Park cartoons, you'll see Mickey Mouse coming out. Hey, oh, I want to see some more action here. Oh, I need more Star Wars projects. Oh, I get it. And then they just throw a bunch of bullshit together, put it out there and say, like this, at least watch it so that we can keep making these projects. I get it. But at the same time, while they're in these rooms and they're having these discussions about which projects move forward, I get a little, I have mixed feelings about this. All right, I have mixed feelings. Now, as you all know, let's just kind of go over what exactly happened to Acolyte, and let's talk about what it is that could have been, should have been, maybe should have been. I don't know. So it's been canceled, and I mean, canceled is a strong word too. Can we just say it hasn't been renewed? Because it really didn't get canceled. Because I think canceled is when like something is going on and they stop it. But for this, it just didn't get renewed. But all the headlines are saying stuff like canceled. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's the correct way to describe it. Frankly, I don't know, but that's just me. So let's go over what it is that brought us to this moment, shall we? Because I think Star Wars fans frankly get on my nerves at this point because y'all don't know what the fuck you want. Y'all always complain about some shit. Hold on, let's talk. All right, so driven by interest. This is from, let me make sure y'all know the source of the article. This is from TVSeriesFinale.com. All right, this article is from TVSeriesFinale.com. Driven by interest into the venerable space franchise, which is a word I don't know if I've ever used before, frankly. The Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th with 2 episodes, generating 4.8 million views. That's a lot of views in the first day on the streamer to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year. Now, let's just stop right there. You have groundbreaking history being made off of the first couple episodes with this show. No matter how tight, trash, whack, woke it was, you got history being made by this show off rip. All right, let's just stop right there. So with history being made, keep that same energy. Let's put a bookmark in that quote. All right, let's keep on reading. The tally rose to 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming, corroborating Disney's data. The series made its debut on Nielsen's top 10 original chart in its premiere week at number 7, 488 million minutes viewed, climbing to number 6 the following week. Does that sound like a show that gets discontinued? Does that sound, is that the type of article that's written for something that ends up not getting a season 2? That's like normally, like, see, stuff like The Cape. Did you watch The Cape back in the day? DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Okay. Shows like this that don't even get any articles get 4 or 5 seasons. Okay, maybe because they don't CW, I don't know. But Disney has this renowned, this well-written article. I'm going to talk about the project. Has all of these accolades for Acolyte, yet and still, for whatever reason that may be, we still see that it doesn't go forward. Now, let me go ahead. Let me just go ahead and keep it moving. Let me just go ahead and keep it moving. Okay. So in the second half of this article, it does say what happened. It says, but the Acolyte could not sustain the momentum, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning at number 10 after the release of the finale. 333 million minutes, believed to be the lowest for a Star Wars series finale. Now, let's break this part down as well, because for me, I read a lot in that. What I read at the very beginning is, okay, folks were interested, but because of streaming, maybe they didn't watch it all right then and there, because this is not the Cosby Show era. We're not living in a world where we sit down with our families on Thursday nights and watch Cheers and watch Golden Girls. We're not watching Family Matters. We're not watching appointment programming. This is streaming. And so when people first tune in because it's new, they're like, hell yeah, I want to watch this. And then they may follow. Now, I'm not going to sit there and act like they don't have other metrics. I'm sure things looked a lot better for Andor, Mandalorian. Hell, who knows? Maybe even Ahsoka. I don't know. But I just feel like in the world of streaming, tracking on a weekly basis how well it does, I don't know if it's really as sustainable. There's so many shows that get brought back because they go away. You know what I'm saying? And for some strange reason, this one doesn't get that chance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and breathe alternate facts to y'all. All right? I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't know Acolyte didn't act right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. There was a lot of flaws in it. It didn't necessarily hold the mantle. But I will say what I'm going to say, and I say it without apology. I loved the cast on this. I don't care what y'all say about how, they didn't let Trinity be Trinity. She was only on there for, I don't give a goddamn. She was in the goddamn show. All right. She did her thing. She was in about 3 episodes, and she had a fairly decent character arc. Where I think that they really went wrong is they steered this wrong by way of plot development. They steered it wrong by way of character arc. They steered it wrong by way of not necessarily being definitive about what it is that they were trying to define, make about the Jedi. You know, they tried to have it both ways. The Jedi are the hero and they're the villains. I think that they should have gone full Jedi or villains. They should have spoke this from the actual perspective of who was perceived as the villain, which, as you all remember, was old boy that was in The Good Place. I swear I cannot remember his name for shit, boy. I cannot remember his name. But yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. And he could have been the main character. There could have been a whole bunch of other things that were done to kind of bring this to a better light. But for whatever reason it may be, we're now being told that they don't even get no second season. Now, I know. I see you in the comments. Most of y'all look like y'all believe, like, yeah, my man, see, True Villain, my man, True, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, it was a decent cast. It was a decent idea. It was executed poorly. I think that's where we actually ended up, because I think that people are not necessarily counting the anti-woke factor. All right. I still believe that don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know that most Star Wars projects gonna get hate. That's just the way it works, right? I mean, we're at the point where we now, as Star Wars fans, have standards for Star Wars. And if it doesn't meet those standards, we talking cash shit about it because we want it to be as good as we want it to be, right? At the same time, I do think that we have to at least factor in the woke factor. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my homeboy on this. I don't know if y'all have seen these things or not. But here's some of the analysis that I have. Ty, what's going on, homeboy? Good to see you, man. I was just talking about the Acolyte and what's going on in there. Now, I know you and I have different feelings about the Acolyte and whether or not it's actually, a fairly decent show. But I've just brought up some of my points, which is basically to say that it wasn't the worst thing in the entire world, but since we have high standards, it's not going to meet the standards. Therefore, we're not going to give it any time because it's not even, it can't even be all right. It's got to be phenomenal. But I, for one, think that the anti-woke factor comes into this. Now, let me just show you. I want to present as evidence for the court a post by Acolyte on Instagram. Now, this came out when they first dropped Acolyte. As you see, this was 15 weeks ago, before the show even started doing its thing. Before the show even began streaming, this is what the comments is saying. The comment section says, man, this looks bad. I hate it already. Can't wait to ignore this. Not interested in Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. The woke awakens. That shit sucked. With all, like, some people are seeing this like it's almost a woke bombing. Brought to you by Harvey Weinstein. Okay, yeah, right, sure. Woke BS. Disney doesn't understand Star Wars. There's some, like, you can see the people that are like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Like, what? Like, read the other comments from the people that are from this universe, not the alternate universe. I'm reading, in the worst enemy of Star Wars fan base is the Star Wars fan base. Agreed. Comment sections make me realize how many miserable people there are in the world who've forgotten how to have fun and remain open to new ideas and ways of telling stories. Get out, get some sunshine, smell some flowers, smoke a joint, and relax. And I'd like to add, as my homegirl Nolly would say, touch grass. Shout out to Nolly, by the way, not feeling well this morning. And Yazoo's up there in the mountains, and I'm sure Steph is somewhere in
traveling
south of France. Everybody's doing their thing. Shout out to Tiffy, Omar, even Kev, and my boy Tyrone as well. But yeah, man, it's just a boys' night today. So yeah, man, this is what I believe, bro. I believe a combination of, and I'm not discounting Ty. I'm not trying to say that the show was phenomenal. All right, hopefully that's not what's being read, but I just feel like the perfect is the enemy. Perfect is the enemy of good. And even though this wasn't good, it wasn't even given an opportunity to become good. And I think that happens in other shows. Like other shows get the grace of being able to develop into better shows. Look, at least what's the show we like so much? With Mother and Father and
Raised by Wolves.
At least Raised by Wolves got 2 seasons to be weird as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Before they just killed it. And I don't know, man. I just feel like Acolyte could have been better, yes. But it could have grown to be even. I think a second season would have at least, and it's not like Disney ain't got the money. Don't give me this old viewership bullshit. Give me, okay, we're coming back stronger type thing. Have you noticed that this is a theme as well? I don't think there's a She-Hulk 2 coming out. There's not going to be any all right. There's not going to be Eternals. Like I feel like the director should stay out the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not always like a crowd or fan driven project. Like sometimes, like Steve Jobs says, people don't know what they want. You got to give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? But in Star Wars, I guess it's just, I don't know. Go ahead. Tell me the truth.
I think if we're being honest, I think both things can coexist. I think there are definitely angry people that just, love the fact that they have a platform to show their anger with everything and anything. So yes, there's always going to be that. One thing you can't argue, I really think, is good writing and good plots and good acting and a good storyline and good movies. As much as you may want to, then you start looking like you're just angry. You're just angry for no reason. There are reasons to be angry about this particular show, though. This series didn't hit on a lot of things, and it didn't help that some of the cast members had little to no knowledge of the Star Wars universe. That definitely hurt any potential second seasons when you have certain actors within the show blurting out shit that's not even true, and that's just gonna fuel the fire of those Star Wars fans that are like, see what I'm talking about, see what I'm saying. So it doesn't help when that happens. But do they deserve the opportunity to possibly come out with something better? Sure. Are the studios willing to fund that whole possibility? Probably not. Whether they have the money or not, it doesn't mean just because I have the money, I'm gonna throw it away if I feel like there was nothing that could make me feel differently. So yeah, man, this is one of those situations where I'd have to agree that a second season probably wasn't. There was nothing that came out of this season that made me be like, "Oh, I can't wait for the second season." Even the apparent reach by dropping Yoda at the very end, where it's like, "Oh, we're gonna see Yoda." They just did a horrible job. Yeah, they did a horrible job of making us feel like the whole season. You were like, "Oh." And then it was like, oh, they're gone already. Oh, damn, we didn't get to see much of them. Oh, yeah. So, I wish the writers would have taken a more time to write a better storyline. And I wish the actors would have spent a little bit more time researching, the universe in which they worked in, which could have conveyed a different message within the storyline. So this is one of those where I can't really argue that much for it. I wish I could, but it's not like, say, Boba Fett, where Boba Fett was bad, but it had some things that you were like, I might be able to, like if I switch this around and switch that around. And I'm specifically talking about my girl Finnick. I love Finnick. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yes. Cause what I'm saying. I mean, but,
yeah.
Me and a win. You could build off of that, of her character, and certainly there were some other things that stood out. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if like, again, I think both things are possible to have. You can have people that just are haters, and then you can have projects that just are bad. And this was a bad project. Unfortunately, it's not going to get a second season to try to save any type of acting or potential possibilities of having someone in other stuff. But yeah, the Acolyte, just for me, I don't share the sentiment that it was good enough to garner another season. I think it was rightfully canceled, honestly. But I don't support all the hate that necessarily came out of just a whole bunch of racism.
Well, that's one of the things. Like, my thing is, like, it feels as if the projects that are targeted from the get are the ones that end up not moving forward. Now, it doesn't help that the projects don't deliver also. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're going to get hate, then what you want to see in the comments is, yo, fuck this woke bullshit. And then at the end of the series, like, yo, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? My bad. That shit was fire. But that's not what happens. But I don't think that it helps when they start off with, I will do everything in my power to make sure the shit is canceled. You know what I'm saying? Type of idea. I think that Disney reads that shit. I think that they're conscious. They're conscious of that. But I will say this: it's very interesting to me that we keep picking things that we like out of the shows that are trash, because it doesn't bode well. It means that there's a glimmer of hope in these series, but they're just not focusing on it. All right, I can say that in everybody didn't really necessarily like the last season of Mandalorian. All right, I know it got a little cheeky, it got a little Boba Fett, a tiny bit, but I did like the introduction of the new era of the Mandalorian. I did like being able to see the mantras. I did like learning more about the actual development of the cult. I wasn't so thrilled about, Bo-Katan just getting handed the dark saber, you know what I'm saying? Like, with no brawl or nothing like that. Even though that was season 2, I wasn't necessarily too thrilled with the jetpack fight. It was, but at very least, there were things that you could celebrate. In Acolyte, I believe that there are also things that could be celebrated. I agree with the comments. Let me go back and let me start that comment. Who said that the lightsabers? Yes, Dizzy Death says that the lightsaber battles were I think that the scenes with old boy whose name I can't remember for whatever reason, the villain, the one who ultimately ended up trying to have his own Acolyte. Man, I'm blanking.
You mean you're talking about the one that is May's teacher now?
Yes, May's the first Sith, if you will.
I don't remember his name either. That's crazy. That's another thing. That's that's a problem. That is a problem when you we watched the whole series and we're like, yo, what was that guy's name? He was very important in the storyline, but we have no idea what his name is.
Manny Jacinto. Okay, yeah.
Is that his real name?
Is that his real name or his character name? Because I don't even. I
feel like that's his real name.
He should be here. True Villainy should be on. Yo, I'm gonna send you the link.
The villain, Manny Jacinto.
The Villainy Jacinto. Nah, that's his
real name.
Okay. So he was the one that was in the Good Place. I actually really liked. I really liked the idea of a disaffected Jedi whose so angry with not being told the truth from jump that he decides to say, yo, fuck all this. Like, y'all got powers, and you're telling me that I have to abide by these rules for the powers. But it's not even true. I can use the power however the fuck I want. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. Come here is what it's saying. Yeah,
come here.
All right, my apologies to the Star Wars universe. But
hey,
it don't look like it's gonna make no difference anyway, because we ain't gonna see this nigga again.
No, we may see him.
Come here is a thing of the past.
I think there are certain characters within this storyline that you could, and I honestly think it would probably just be him. Because if you're bringing May, then you got to bring her sister. You got to do the twin thing, the whole thing like that. So I don't know if that's something Star Wars wants to do. But Khmer, as an actor, I feel like he stood out.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He definitely killed his role, and that the lightsaber scenes which he was in were highly entertaining. And just from a standpoint of, if you're trying to build a platform for another Hemsworth or something like that, where women are like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? So you could go that route with it, and then add him to some other property that they're working on or whatever. But I think, as far as, like, again, that this, it just goes back to the writing, man. Like, this could have been so much better. I mean, when you have lightsaber scenes like this is the lightsaber scenes that we wish were in Ahsoka. We wish Ahsoka had these lightsaber scenes, and we wish that the acting and the storyline was written sort of like Andor. We wish it was Andorish, and things like that. But these Star Wars properties, man, like, we just got to be honest, man. They just haven't been good. Regardless of who's in it, you know what I mean? Like, Ahsoka wasn't good to me. This wasn't good.
Not good.
This wasn't good to me. Boba Fett wasn't good to me. Mandalorian, there's people on the fence about Mandalorian the last season. So there is a consistency here that maybe we need to actually pinpoint that and say, okay, who do we point fingers at for real? Because the animated series of Star Wars and all of that have been great.
But yeah, okay.
The other one that just came out, I forget what it was named.
Or Star
Wars, not the villain. I just watched it too, and I can't think of the property name. But all the animated series are really good. Young Jedis, all of that. All of that. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, you watch Young Jedis? Okay, I didn't watch that.
Of course, I got kids.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Is that the one they're talking about?
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. But that's cool too.
Okay. I think that if you remove the Power Rangers on the bikes in Boba Fett, that if you go back and rewatch it, that it's not as bad as we want. I think that we wanted it to be Mandalorian, and it wasn't. Here's where Boba Fett went wrong again. Boba Fett went wrong by not necessarily giving us the real gap in time from when he went into the Sarlacc pit. Into the is that the Sarlacc pit? What's it called?
Yeah, it's the Sarlacc. That was the Sarlacc.
And came out. it's like 30 years older. It's 80 pounds heavier. but like, I actually liked the Tusken Raiders story arc. I like him being inspired by the little kid, and I like him coming back to tell the Tusken Raiders, the Sand People, if you will, even though that's a derogatory term. I like the fact that, like, they all got killed off. You know what I'm saying? I liked seeing Cad Bane. It was my favorite. I liked all of the fan service. I liked Black Kersantin.
Chrysanthemum, the black chrysanthemum.
I liked seeing the Jabbas. There was a lot of things that went on in this show. I think the biggest downside.
I mean, not many. Vinny. That's what I was about to say. I was about to say
was the biggest problem.
But that's the problem, Vinny. That's the problem.
Was the biggest problem.
Vinny, you can't.
What's cool?
Vinny, you cannot go and talk about all the good things in a show called Boba Fett, but Boba Fett. You can't do that.
Well,
it just defeats the whole purpose. That means the show wasn't good. If the show is named after me, and I'm like, yo, I like Vinny, I like Yaz, I like Nolly, I like Steph, but that damn bad time. Man, was he bad? Like, it's like, what? I mean, it's my show. It's my name of my show. So, like,
yeah, I mean, but still, to say, all right, well, Boba Fett wasn't perfect, therefore we must cancel it. I think that's where they're going wrong. I like, I don't know if you know, but I cannot remember his name for shit, but the guy, go ahead, comments, go ahead and put me on blast. It starts with the T. Terror. It's a long name. The young man who plays Boba.
Who plays it?
Yeah. He actually had a really good idea for season 2, and I don't think that they're going to honor it, but I think that it would be dope as hell. He said that he was lobbying the writers to make season 2 about Boba Fett hunting down Mace Windu to get revenge for killing his father, Jango Fett. And there it is, Tamora Morrison. Thank you, bro. It's too much of the THC for me. My memory is a thing of the past. So appreciate you. Yeah, man. So I would like to see that. But I think also that what we learned from Andor and from Mandalorian, Ty, and the success of both of those projects, barring season 3 of Mandalorian, I know that's an outlier. Some would even say maybe even season 2, but I disagree. I think both the first seasons were classics. I think that what Star Wars fans are trying to tell us is that enough with the Jedi. Enough with the Jedi. That's the message that I'm receiving, because Ahsoka, trash. Acolyte, some would call it trash. All right. Obi-Wan, people didn't really like it that much. All right. But Mando, Andor, 2 Jedi-less shows had the greatest success. If Boba Fett didn't go whatever way it did, I dare say it might have had the same thing. Now, I know that Tales of a Jedi and the anime that Star Wars came out with, those are going to hit because they're not story oriented. They're episodic. They're one-offs. Each episode is, even though they build off of them in the animated series. I think that the Star Wars universe is ready to turn the page on the Jedi. I think that the world is vast enough in Star Wars that it can survive and go into a Cad Bane story, go into maybe a Darth Sidious childhood. Maybe go more into the Sith like they tried to with Acolyte. Give me what's the badass bounty hunter? Darth Bane. Give me Darth Bane, not a bounty hunter, but like Bane. Half
Cad Bane. Cad Bane.
No, Darth. No, hold on. Darth.
Yeah. Hold on. Is that? Yeah. You just mixed two together just now. He said Darth.
It's Darth Bane. I know.
Is it Darth Bane? Okay.
Darth Bane. Yes. Darth Bane. This motherfucker was one of the OG. He's the anti-hero on some Venom shit. You know what I'm saying? The abilities of the Jedi, but not the goodwill and all of that, integrity bullshit of the Jedi. You know what I'm saying? There's more stories that are out there to be explored, but they want to center it around what we came into Star Wars with, and I think that that's proven to not be sustainable. There's a new way forward. You know what I'm saying? It's like Star Wars is not going back. They need to and I think that unfortunately is where we are now. We're in the period where Star Wars OG has to wrestle with Star Wars YG, and they're not mingling very well. I don't even know if Dave Filoni's the answer.
But is that like, because what you're saying is like they should move into, you know, the more vastness of the universe and then change the storyline. But my thing is, that's not necessarily the case. They just need better writing. And it's because you can have that too. You can Star Wars has always been a vast universe. They never stayed on one planet. They always were moving around. Up there, we're over here, we're over here, we're over here. They're always have expressed the vastness of the planets. The problem is, and again, I don't understand it, and I look at it from a dollars and a market standpoint. Like when you talk about Andor and you talk about Mandalorian, you spent hella money bringing in top of the line actors. Like Andor is filled with great acting, filled with it. Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, you got Pedro Pascal at his best. You got Carl Weathers. You got Carl Weathers. You got what's my man that played the sheriff? You got him.
Yeah. Old boy from Kim's Convenience.
You and I mean the list goes on and on. I could keep going and on with the actors and the cast. Yeah. And I keep saying this over and over. When you have bad writing, good acting is needed. You need it is imperative. You cannot have bad writing and bad acting. That just does not go together. It does not translate to a profit margin. It does not. And
time out. So, can we talk about this comment right quick? Because I would have lost my shit if Ventress came on the guy. Ventress needs her own show. Okay, fuck the bullshit. Ventress would have been a great show to make an actual character arc out of. We're talking somebody who started with the Night Sisters, went to the Sith, left the Sith because she was betrayed by Count Dooku. Bart said that they wanted revenge to the Sith and ends up as a bounty hunter at the end of the story. The character arc, it writes itself. She's not a human being. I think that this is exactly what I'm talking about, bro. Leave the Jedi stories alone. Enough. You're right, though. I agree with you. Writing has to be tip top.
Well, you see now, if you watched the last season,
Myra J too. I see you, Terry.
If you watched the last season of Bad Batch, they reintroduced Asajj Ventress into that, and at this point, with hair, and more importantly, by the time they reintroduced her, she is now carrying a green lightsaber. So, and
it's the same one. Isn't it the same one from? It's
the
one that
she got Obi-Wan. Remember it?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's the same one. But my point is, she's now actively moving like a Jedi as opposed to a Sith. So that it doesn't. Again, you don't have to exclude the Jedis from the storyline because the Jedis have been the most interesting part of the storylines. It is just that it has been lately that they have been written badly. This whole entire Acolyte series made the Jedis look like straight up assholes, straight up, it made them look so bad to the point where you're like, now, it would be interesting to see the Sith side of this discussion because for a long time, we thought the Sith were just evil because the Jedi said they were. But apparently, the Sith are just people that want to move freely without control and without the narcissistic behavior. I'm sorry, sounds like us. We all want freedom. We all want to be able to make our own decisions. We don't want somebody telling us how to. You know what I'm saying? So, I would love to see again some really good writing that now goes into not just the Jedis, but also goes into the side of the Sith problems and issues, and lets us kind of make our own decision based on all the evidence rather than just the evidence that was always given to us by the Jedi that the Sith are just evil and they just deal with the dark side of the Force. Well, the dark side of the Force is starting to seem really like the right side of the Force. You know what I'm saying? It's like we just watched the whole thing where it's like, look, I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to do me. And then the Jedi are like, well, hold up, you can't do you. This is how we want things done, and if you can't do it like that, then you gotta go. You gotta go. What you mean I gotta go? You know,
it reminds me of like, I remember I was watching this show. I can't remember what it was a long time ago. And I think it might have been Community or something like that. And they were doing a survey with the class and like, okay, class, so we have religious beliefs. And one kid rose their hand and was like, yeah, I'm a Satanist. He was like, oh, he's like, yo, hold up, man.
Oh.
Like, what are you, why Satanism? He's like, well, it's the only religion that allows you to be in whatever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. You actually might have a point, and I'm not trying to cape for Satanism or nothing, but it is kind of like it bounces on that same head this whole time. And all of Star Wars' lore, all of the things we've been introduced through Star Wars, we've been kind of taught that the Sith is the bearer of like evil,
negative,
because they allow you to tap into your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Let's think about the fact that Anakin actually went bad because he wanted a relationship. Like that was his cardinal sin. He didn't want to kill a bunch of people, even though he ended up killing a bunch of kids. All right, yeah. But he didn't want to. He just wanted to be. He just wanted some. Little thing. You know what I'm saying?
He went bad. If we're being honest, Anakin went bad because he wanted to save Padme. That was why he went bad.
Yeah,
because
he wanted a relationship. Yeah.
Everybody said but more importantly, just save her. Like she was gonna told him, oh, I can give you the power to save her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I don't want her to die. I don't want to lose her. So it wasn't so much just that he wanted a relationship, because just having a relationship is
you're speaking out both sides of your mouth. Like I'm
not speaking out of both sides of my mouth.
He wanted to save her so he could have his relationship. Come on.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is there was a clear what's his name? Gosh, why can't I think
Darth
of
Sidious?
No. Palpatine. Palpatine said, Palpatine said, I can teach you, the ways to give you the power to save, the woman you love. Like it wasn't just about being in a relationship, because they were in a relationship. Like, let's be clear, they were in a relationship. It was just.
But if she died, they wouldn't be anymore.
Okay, that's my point. It's one thing to say I just want to be in a relationship. It's a whole nother thing to say the person that I love is going to die and there's nothing I can do about it. And then I come along and say, oh, but there is something you could do about it, but you'll have to kill kids. Is what I'm saying. There's a whole difference. Like when you just say, oh, he went and killed kids because he wanted to save his relationship. No, he killed kids because he wanted to save the woman that he loved from dying.
So they can stay in a relationship.
Oh my God!
Like do you think that he would have did the same thing if they weren't together? Like if there was some stubborn ex, like
I don't think he would have killed kids. I don't think he would have killed kids just to be with her. No, I don't.
Yes, that's exactly why he can. Is this really happening? Are you serious? Is this really a thing? Like you can't. You're not making any sense.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you, because clearly Vince don't get what I'm saying. Like listen,
you're right.
I'm telling you what it is.
Nah, man. Nah, Sergio, what the fuck? Anakin would not be doing that if he was not in a relationship with Padme. Ty trying to make it seem like it was about the fact that he was trying to heal her. He was healing her because they were in love, because they were in a relationship, not just random chick. That was my point. Like, I'm not saying that the healing aspect wasn't actually what it was, but it was because he had such an emotional attachment. There were so many people that they could have healed. There were so many people that could have been used, that the healing force could have been used for, but it wasn't them that he gave a fuck about. It was only Padme, because he gave a fuck. Padme was giving it up. She was his cougar. She showed him how to do all that weird shit. She was
So
with
then
them
you're saying she would have killed him.
through the little braid all the way without the braid. Like, oh shit, I done talked myself out of my So I'm just saying, I don't sit there trying to act like it was just random chick who anybody, oh yeah, he just wanted to learn the ways of the Force. No, he wanted to preserve the Punani that was Padme and did not want it to go nowhere. And that was his cardinal sin. And I think that the Sith are right to expose that. I don't know why y'all trying to deny that. Like, Sergio, who are you? Who are you, Sergio? Like, you knew here. Like, what you coming to? Like, just get.
I love it, Sergio. Don't listen to him. He hates. All I'm spotlighting is that when you, yes, Anakin was a bit overly intoxicated by Padme. But what I'm saying is, it came down to her life or death. And what I'm saying is, I don't think he would have killed kids and went that far unless her life depended on it, is what I'm saying. Yes, relationship,
I agree.
Staying with somebody and being with somebody, yes, important, especially when it's your first love, like it was with him. Because remember, he wasn't clapping no cheeks or doing nothing before Padme. So she was his first everything. So I as with all of us as human beings, when our first love, we think that that's the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially when they be like, it's over. It's like, no, the world.
If I can't have you.
But yeah, if I can't have you. Which is great, which is totally psycho, by the way. But I mean, as human beings and us going through that, there's no instances where that's just because we lost our first love, we're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill some kids to get her back. Nah, it was never that. I just think that when it was conveyed to him that she could possibly perish, that was the thing. It was like, oh snap, now I got to do something to keep her around, because even if I can't be with her, I still want her around just for the opportunity or chance that possibly things could change. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that Palpatine knew that, he utilized that, focused on that. And that was what turned Anakin completely over to the dark side, was the fact of that loss that we're talking about of Padme. So yeah, man.
I mean, we're kind of saying the same thing it's coming from different directions.
Yeah.
But can we do something for a second? Because I think we're gonna try to keep today's show a little bit at about an hour or so. So we'll start wrapping up here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But can we at least talk about what Acolyte did well? All right, like. In what I can say is that in these last few series that let's just keep it real, we were disappointed in. In Ahsoka, we were disappointed in. All right, we're disappointed in Acolyte. Damn near, I want to say we were even disappointed in Mandalorian season 3, even though I know they tried to do the whole revival of
it was clearly not their best story. It was clearly not their best season.
Yeah, they tried to bring back my man Moff Gideon, and you know what I'm saying, and they had this badass scene with Yoda with Grogu coming out the fire, and it had its moments. It lost me with the jetpack fight, even though I know that comes directly from the Rebels. It didn't look as good in the live action as it did in the anime series. So just keep it real.
Now, CGI was terrible.
Yeah. Now, having said that, some things that I think that they did do well. I did like the introduction of live action witches. I love the story of the witches. I prefer the Night Sisters of Dathomir over just the ones that we saw here, because I don't think that was Dathomir. In fact, I know it wasn't Dathomir. I forget whatever planet they said that was, but it wasn't Dathomir. And I really wish that we could lean a little more into Dathomir. I like the main mother, and I'm wondering if the young lady we saw who did represent the mother, if she's really, really, really dead, or if she can be, since they are familiar with Force, if they can be Force ghosts as well. I don't know if Jedis are the only ones that have access to Force ghost capability, since they didn't even know that these folks could wield the Force. So I'm thinking that might be possible to see her again. Sorry for the unclear pictures. I like the fact that they did explore different types of relationships. And I like the fact that they showed that the Jedi are not flawless. In fact, that they are extremely flawed. I like the fact that it exposed the tyranny that exists within the Jedi, as they actually, as you said multiple times, Ty, showed up at these folks' house on their own planet and was like, "Where the kids at?" This is like the DCF department of the Jedi Council, and so I think that those things were done well. I still like the lightsaber fight that killed this young lady. Spoiler alert. Sorry. I still think that lightsaber fight was the dude. I think that old boy brought it. Dang, his name.
Come here.
Scroll back up. Come here. I think he brought it. I think this motherfucker was the best part, if I could say,
of the series. Absolutely.
Of the series. He brought it. This motherfucker was entertaining. His acting was on point. He killed his lines. He killed his action scenes. He got ready for the role. He did his push-ups. He did it. He had his, he brought the guns out. And I mean, if anything, this dude, Manny Jacinto, is the saving grace of Acolyte. But it also goes to my point. Why is he the saving grace? Not because his acting, not just because of his ability to carry out these scenes, but also because his character has a different his character is different. The arc, it's one of the first times we get a disaffected Jedi that is going back to the Jedi. He's not just completely evil. He has motives. He has, and clearly him and the lady that was his tutor or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They got some beef that they should have settled, and maybe we'll see more of that in the upcoming season. Oh shit! I guess we won't.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, that's what I think the saving grace of this is. What do you think was good? What did we walk away from this saying, okay, at least this was something that doesn't have to be changed? Or is there anything for you?
I mean, obviously I agree wholeheartedly with the Khmer aspect of the show. I think the one thing that we do come away with this is having a different perception of what the Sith represent, what the dark side represents. And what I would like to see is more of that going into the depth of the dark side and what drives the Sith and everything, because for so long they've made it seem like the Sith's desire and their driving force is to end the Jedi. That's it. That's all it is. But when you kind of unlayer that, then it's like, well, we're trying to end, imperialistic behavior. Y'all are like over here telling everybody what the hell they need to do, and we're trying to we're freeing consciousness over here on the dark side.
Right.
Look, we're over here saying that there's not one way to live. There's many ways to live, and we're saying free your mind and accept. So I would like to see a series or a movie. Even if they do the Mandalorian Grogu movie, let me see the dark side of the Force and those who wield the dark side of the Force be viewed differently than just always being just the evil opposing opposition of the so-called goodness that the Jedis perpetuate, and which is not the case.
To your point, that's exactly what the OG Star Wars was, right? That's literally it. We were given evil, big man, strong, it kills everything, only to find out, hold the fuck up, like this dude was a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he actually he was manipulated, you know what I'm saying? And then they made a whole other, they made the prequels after that based on that. The complexities of Jedi to Sith, the complexities of, okay, I want to be able to wield everything, control everything, but in order for me to do that, I can't get no ass. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't have a relationship. I can't miss my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't have a best friend. Like and I think that's what Acolyte was trying to tap into, unsuccessfully, unfortunately.
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
Saying?
They raised our interest. So yes. I'll give them that. They raised our interest. They dropped the ball on the storytelling aspect of it, because it got to when you got Khmer on the island with May, and you saw that there was literally no aggression on his part. He gave her he was like, yo, then kill me. Like
Yeah.
what? Like if you're gonna do it, then just do it. Like there was this calmness that you don't expect from a
Yeah.
Sith, because you've always been told and taught that the Sith are just pure evil and they
Right.
deal in pure evilness. And so when you see this individual calmly expressing to her and being vulnerable and showing vulnerability and all of it, you're like, whoa, I'm confused
Right.
here. And then
Right.
you go to the opposite end of the spectrum, and you see all of this conniving,
Yes.
deceitful
Yes.
behavior from the Jedi, and then you're like, oh, well, maybe it was an isolated event, and then you're like, no, this is perpetual.
That's how they get down.
This is over. Everybody's down with this bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? So that
and let me build on that real quick. If you even think back to the concept of the Jedi Council and how they make these decisions. Oh, we're gonna go to that land because they need us. Oh, no, they all right over there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't train the boy. He missed his mom. You know what I'm saying? Like the bureaucracy that is the Jedi was being exposed in this. It doesn't, like, I'm still trying to get over the fact that they was like, oh, now keep that shit secret. Like, hold the fuck up. You're the Jedi. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you even, like, for so long, like, remember at the end, May was like, why you didn't tell me? Oh, sorry, May. We didn't want you to. No, nigga. You supposed to tell me.
Mama. You killed my mama. You killed my mama.
You just gonna keep that shit secret. You
broke into our house. You broke into our house and killed
stole the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, so I just feel I think there was somewhere in the script was an attempt to not let the Jedi's reputation get so soiled, so tarnished that they can't still build on the Jedi legacy. And I think that's another thing that they did wrong. They should have shit on the Jedi completely. This should have been an anti-Jedi show. And I have a question for you. Do you think this show would have been better as a movie as opposed to as a show? They would have cut out a lot of fat.
Nah.
Maybe this could have been 2 movies instead of, because honestly, we didn't need everything we saw in the show. It could have been cut down. We didn't need the whole. If I could be real, the twin saga amounted to nothing. The May and there was no. I mean, the whole you left. At the end of the day, it ended up being nothing. There was no reason to do it. Like, there was the manipulation of all of the your twin sister is really dead, but she really isn't, and it was all unnecessary. The real story is the Sith are the freedom fighters. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that fight for your ability to control the Force without any laws, rules, regulations. You know what I'm saying? They want the government out of your Force. My body, my choice. And the Jedi are the ones that are trying to overtake the universe with the laws that they've decided in their own little cozy room are best suited for the galaxy. And I just don't think that it was really I don't think that it was explored in that way. But
I don't agree with you that the May twin sisters was irrelevant. I think that they started a certain way and changed up during the writing of the story, and that's what fucked it up. May and her sister were intended to be isolated events. Remember that, because they were created from the Force. They were not birthed. They were the first of their kind and the only of their kind. They were so powerful that they were feared on both sides of the board. So they were feared by the Sith, and they were also feared by the Jedi. And you could tell that they were feared by that, because remember when Kamir came back and she had the helmet on, she froze Kamir too. She had from Kamir's eyes black, and she had him too. He realized at that moment that she was more powerful than anything he had ever experienced. And I think that part of the storyline was very convoluted. They didn't do enough into that, because they hinted at the fact that they were created from the Force, but never really delved into what that
Yeah,
meant.
yeah.
I get that meant by them being created by the Force. Why were they so fearful in the first place of these two young girls? Because remember, they had felt their power before they went into the city and stole them. So they were aware of them before all of that. And so there's a lot that was not written properly that messed this story up, that could have made this story way more intriguing. Because again, they were one of one. Like they were like, this is the only encounter we've ever had within the Star Wars universe of someone being created from the Force, directly from the Force. So we don't know what that looks like. We know that they are connected at a different level than anyone else, which means that they are a potential threat to all, because they are so powerful. And that's why at the end, when Soul was killed, you saw just the glimmer of the power that May possesses. And remember, May has not been trained, so all of this is just coming naturally. This is just her tapping into the Force. Bam, they having this power, being able to freeze these Jedi masters. By the way, masters, because they did the same thing. She froze old girl from Trinity from thing, did the same thing. So that's my point, is they did not really tie it in the way they should have tied it in. If they would have done that the right way, then we would be talking about what to look forward to in Acolyte season 2, and they didn't. And that's why there is no Acolyte season 2, is because the writing was so everywhere. And even it's bad when Obama can't save you. And I look at Yoda as Obama. That's like he doesn't really have a job title, but when you need him, he'll be there. You know what I'm saying? So so they brought Obama to the DRC like yo, look, this, hey, we need you. He's like, all right, well, so what I wanted to say.
Honestly, like, but if I can keep it real, like, nobody really get excited about Yoda anymore like that. Like, if you're gonna use like a secret weapon at the end that we're gonna be like, oh shit, I don't know. I think Yoda's a little overexposed at this point.
You're wrong.
Frankly,
you're totally wrong.
When I saw that it was Yoda, I was like, all right, it's Yoda. You know what I'm saying? I did kind of go like, oh, but I was like, all right.
Yeah,
so, I mean, Yoda being 900 years old could fit in all of the timelines. Like the fact that this shit happened like well before the Jedi that we know, the Skywalker saga. Like this shit is like this is supposed to be a Sith origin story, and the fact that Yoda
is token. Yoda and Grogu at this point are token parts of the Star Wars universe.
But this nigga is like 900 years old. Like the nigga, I wonder if like he's gonna have like a mustache or like when they show the front of him. But I ain't gonna lie, like I think that the Star Wars universe is not capitalizing on the last part of that, which is universe. I think that they are staying in the era of every time that they harken back to, I mean, yeah, so what? Yoda's fun, but can you build a series on Yoda? I don't know.
Yes,
at this point,
yes, absolutely. Yoda and Grogu are token parts of Star Wars. Stop it.
Grogu did not save Mandalorian season 3, bro. It still got a lot of slack.
Yes, it did. It did. Listen, let me tell you something. Because we're not about to do this. Grogu saved the Mandalorian season 3. If there's ever a part of the Mandalorian that people can hang their hats on, it is Grogu. Every time he shows his face on Mandalorian, you're like, oh, it's Grogu, man. It's Grogu, man.
Yeah.
And look, this was the first time you see in any of the series that Grogu is really tapping in to his Force sensitive parts. And now there was a fight scene. Let's remember him trying to become Mandalorian as well. Let's not act like we didn't see him in battle doing shit and his proud papa sitting back like that's my boy. Look, man, man, come on, man. Grogu has been a fixture within the Star Wars universe since its inception. And the same thing goes for Yoda. Yoda, every time Yoda comes on screen, wherever he comes on screen, people are going to be like, so don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to downplay Yoda and Grogu. Don't you dare.
I'm not trying to downplay Yoda. I love Yoda. I love Grogu. I just don't think that their existence can support an entire series. I don't think that you can just slap Yoda on the screen and say, okay, this show's going to kill now because Yoda's in it. I don't think you can slap Grogu. Even if that's my point. As much as the proof is in the number. Okay, you tell me. Was Mandalorian better season 3 or season 1?
Season 1.
Okay, so season 3, even though Baby Grogu had IG-11, even though Baby Grogu used all the powers, it still didn't make Mandalorian season 3 as good as season 1. That's my point. Like Yoda, Grogu, they cannot be the only contributors. Okay. They're not enough to hold an entire series. I'm not trying to say they trash. Lisa, you maligning what I'm saying. Like, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, Lisa. Like, she's trying to turn the family against each other. I'm not trying to turn. I didn't say shit bad about it. Hold on. Y'all trying to turn my words against me. I didn't say Yoda was bad. I didn't say Yoda wasn't fun. I didn't speak ill of Yoda. I just said Yoda can't carry a whole project.
So let me ask you this. It's the truth. So here, since you're dealing in truth. So would Mandalorian season 3 have been good if there were no Grogu in it?
Oh, Mandalorian would not be good, period. Without Grogu.
Okay, that's my point. Is that there is still an argument of some people saying it wasn't that bad, as opposed to it just being bad, and everybody consistently over the board saying it was bad. And the reason being is because Grogu is in it. I don't care what you say. I would watch a Yoda origin story tomorrow. I would, if they went back and they said all of the stuff you didn't know about Yoda, this is what the hell, how Yoda became Yoda, nigga, I would absolutely watch that. And if they did a Grogu series where it was Grogu going through the like what he was doing with Luke. If they look, I would have watched that too. If we were just watching him learning how to use his powers and going on journeys where he actually has to use his powers, hell yeah, I would have watched it. Grogu was cute as hell. Like they was like, there's no denying that. There's no denying that. When he comes on the screen, you're locked in. My mother, who doesn't watch Star Wars, will pull up and be like, "Oh, so cute." That's enough. That is enough to garner, bro. That is enough to garner respect. And look, at the end
I
of
think
the
we're
day,
talking about two different things, though. We're talking about two different things. I'm not trying to convince you that Yoda, Grogu, that they're not good characters, that they're not beloved characters. I'm trying to state the likelihood that if you make a Grogu series, only Grogu, no Mandalorian, you know what? Let me take that back. A Yoda series, because I think Grogu might be the exception. We might actually tune in for that. But Yoda alone, though. Yoda alone at this point, are we really tuning in for a Yoda for Yoda alone?
Have we ever got an origin story for Yoda?
No, we don't even know what this. He's like Yoda and Grogu are two of the only species that don't have any name in the Star Wars universe. Like they don't even give them like a name of the species. Like Chewbacca's a Wookiee. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's Targaryen, Targaryen, yes, Transdojians, all these other things. But Yoda is literally like, we don't know what the fuck he is. We don't know where people came from.
That's the point. That's the point, Vince. We have no real concept of what Yoda is outside of one of the most strongest and most powerful Jedis. But if we actually got an origin story with a younger version of, now I'm not talking about the 900-year-old Yoda. I'm talking about a Yoda who's doing backflips and doing saber battles like he did in Phantom Menace and all of that kind of stuff. Like, yo, listen, I'm saying to you that we've never had it, but the intrigue will always be there with Yoda and Grogu. So to answer your question, would a series of Yoda would be great? Yes, if it's written correctly, absolutely. You would tune in, I would tune in, and all the blurs in this community would tune in. So the idea that one of those individuals could not thrive and have their own property is outrageous that you would even think that.
Well, at the end of Acolyte, when we saw Yoda, did you have life breathed into you as for that series? Were you thinking like, "Oh shit, I can't wait for season 2 now"?
No, because the life was sucked out of me by
That's my point. Yoda cannot revive an entire series.
Oh my God, no! There's a difference in what you're saying. If the whole series that I watched was bad, and everything that y'all did in it was just like fanfare, but it never played out how it was supposed to be. You introduced all of these different characters, but never really let them thrive within the storyline. Then you bring Yoda. I'm gonna think you're gonna do the same thing. You're trying to do the same thing you've done to me the whole series. At some point, you realize that I'm is playing with you. So that's when you're like, I ain't going for that. I ain't falling for that again. But what we were talking about was what I just said. Yo, if you audience hype and expectation, it again comes down to how you write it. If you write it well, it comes out well. It's thing right. Nobody thought that Andor was going to be as good as it was until it was as good as it was. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So you can't. Yoda is already a piece that has been intricate in the Star Wars universe, but we know nothing about him. So no one has taken that opportunity to write a good origin story for Yoda. If they did, it would be crazy. I promise you. They did the same thing with Solo, and Solo was good. I thought Solo was decent. Nobody asked for a Han Solo origin story. We didn't ask for it, but we got it, and it was decent.
Oh, by the way, go ahead. Finish.
I'm just saying nobody asked for the Han Solo origin story, but we got it.
I don't know. I think people wanted a Han Solo origin story.
I don't think anybody was asking for.
I think we wanted more. We wanted more Han Solo.
I mean, we wanted more after we got it. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, this again, it comes down to good writing and
speaking of which, as we start to wrap things up a little bit, to kind of go along with my point of Star Wars projects, I believe, maybe Solo is the exception, but I believe are doing a little bit background. Damn, Mike, you fucked up my train of thought. Like I was trying to say something I've read times background. Yoda came.
The original Mother Earth. That would be awesome.
I'm sorry. It's a comment of the day right now. We'll get the star on that one, Mike. Thanks for pulling up. I think that if it's true what I'm hearing about Donald Glover and the potential for a Lando Calrissian project, I think that that's going to kill, because we definitely want more Lando. Who doesn't want more Donald Glover as Lando? I mean, even bringing in Billy D, who was in, didn't Billy D do? Oh no, y'all didn't see. That was there was one of those kids shows, the Star Wars animated shows. Billy D did a voice on it. I think it was it? No, it wasn't. I can't remember one of the new ones. But I would be here for that, and I think that it would kill as well, because once again, it's not Jedi centric. I think that let's talk about some of the most successful projects of late for Star Wars. Again, I said these earlier. Okay, Daniel liked Obi-Wan. I didn't hate Obi-Wan. I liked Reva. But it was kind of redundant with it's just once again Obi and Anakin. But let's talk about. We've already mentioned Andor and Mandalorian as two non-Jedi centric projects, but we're missing the main or the originator of non-Jedi centric projects, which was a theatrical depiction of Rogue One, which had no Jedi, even though Donnie Yen killed it with the bow and was giving us Jedi vibes, even though he was one with the Force. The Force is with me, but he still. But my point is, like, these projects that step away from the Skywalkers, that step away from the as much as I love lightsabers, that don't make the lightsabers the center crux of the actual show. They are forced to use creativity in the actual script because they can't lean on the shiny red lights, the shiny green lights. They can't lean on just having, you know what I'm saying, really dope action sequences. They have to actually have good script writing. And I think that a Lando Calrissian story could lend itself to that model. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as doing a Lando Calrissian story. I think having Donald Glover in any movie playing Lando Calrissian is absolutely, on the top of my list. But I don't know that I want to see a Lando series or a Lando story specific. So yes, I would love to see him come and reprise the role of Lando Calrissian, and continue that. But I don't know that I want to see any of those as a series or a movie.
Okay, well let's give you all. I just kind of had a chance to look this up. Let's read over this article, which kind of goes into the potential for the Lando project. It's about a year old, so it might have been updated since then. But let's go ahead and give this a shout. So, as it says right here, the Donald Glover's Lando is no longer a series as it pivots to a feature film. All right. For those of y'all listening on Spotify and iHeart and all of that, we'll go ahead and take a read. But if you get a chance, check us out on YouTube too. Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian is not returning in a new Star Wars series, rather in a theatrical feature film. Deadline is confirmed with insiders that the project is pivoting from a Disney Plus series to the big screen. The news was revealed Thursday via the actor's brother and fellow Atlanta EP Stephen Glover, who was working on the project with Donald. News broke in July. The duo replaced Justin Simeon as the writers of Lambo. What are you laughing at?
I'm not because I mean, I love the brotherly love that these two have for each other, because they work on all their projects together. So that's not out of the ordinary. And again, Donald is a great director. I don't know about the writing aspect. Steven also is a great.
You don't know about the writing? You didn't like Atlanta?
I mean, yeah, I loved Atlanta. I'm talking about Star Wars though. I'm not like Atlanta. Okay. Yeah, those are two different properties.
Yeah. Because he did also make that movie with Rihanna, Guava Island, which was trash. So, I could not get through. If you want to hate life, go and watch Guava. Like, I didn't think you could take two people like Donald Glover and Rihanna, put them on a script, and make you hate it. Like, that is one of the worst projects.
Worst movie.
I love you, Donald. But it gives Geely a run for his money. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, I right now, Donald Glover is a hot commodity. He's coming off the Mr. and Mrs. Smith property. That was a really good series. And I think that Disney is trying to capitalize off his growing success. And that'll be great for him. Again, I don't necessarily know how interested I will be in a Calrissian themed movie. I just don't.
Oh, you're wilding. You're wilding.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it won't be great. I'm just saying I don't know how interested I am in that whole.
But you like Solo, right? You like Solo, the movie.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't interested in the Solo movie. I watched the Solo movie and I was like, oh, this is actually decent. But I wasn't interested in it when it came out. I wasn't like, oh my God, a Solo movie I've been waiting for. I can't believe they finally listened. No, I wasn't like that. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is decent. And then I was like, yo, Donald Glover plays a really good, Lando.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah, it plays a really good Lando. I think he would play a good Lando in the movie. I just don't know how interested I'll be in the property until I see it. I don't think I'm gonna rush to the theater to go see it. It's probably gonna be one of my Fire Stick joints.
No, you're gonna rush to the theater. You want to support Donald Glover? Yes, you will. I'll bet money.
Why?
I will bet
Why?
money.
Well,
I bet.
you can bet.
I
You
forgot.
can-
I forgot who I'm talking to. I forgot who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Why? Like you
My
can
bad,
bet
my
your
bad, my
money.
bad, my bad, my bad,
You can
my
pay
bad.
for
I
my
thought it
ticket if you bet that
Daddy
much.
Fire
Like,
Stick. I forgot.
I'm not. Listen. I have the comforts of home to always
Well, let me
pull me
finish.
back.
Let me finish this article real quick. So, it says that Daniel. Oh, hold on, here it is. So it's not even a show. The 3-time Atlanta Emmy nominee revealed in an episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast. Pablo Torre, I like him. The idea right now is to do a movie right now because of the strike. So obviously you see this happen like this. This I think was a year old. Yep, about a year old. So the last few things I read here, it says Donald Glover's younger take on the galaxy's notable gambler and double crosser first appeared in Solo: A Star Wars Story. The 2018 movie bombed with a global gross of $392.9 million, but the pic's release was preceded by news of its change in filmmakers, going from fan faves Phil Lord and Christopher Miller to Ron Howard. Despite the pick misfiring, Glover's Lando, played by Billy D. Williams in the first 2 Star Wars sequels and the 2019 Rise of the Skywalker, was a hit with fans. Did Billy D show up in Rise of the Skywalker? Did he do that? Did I forget about that? Did Billy D show up in that? He might have. I seem to remember a live-action Billy D showing up. It's a shame that I don't remember as much as I should. It was announced at a Disney Investor Day in December 2020 that Lando would become a Disney Plus series. It was also recently announced that Disney Plus would be making less product for its pipeline, thus spacing out programming. The original character of Lando Calrissian finally was made famous by Billy D. Williams, who first appeared. Yeah, we know all that. We know all that.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Let me see. New stores. So what does this say?
Steve, congrats on you and Donald doing this new Lando show, which I read about.
Oh boy, you shouldn't have said that.
But that's literally that's the extent of what you can say. Is that? All right, so that is the voice, the already regretful voice of my friend Stephen Glover, the genius screenwriter and rapper and producer, the guy who may be best known as the head story editor of Atlanta, the TV show which won pretty much every award in Hollywood, and is also one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. Steve and his brother Donald are now making a widely reported and super highly anticipated new Star Wars show, a Lando Calrissian show for Disney Plus. Or at least I thought they were until now.
No, yeah, I mean, I could pretty much be like, yeah, you know, we're doing it's not even a show.
Should we bleep it?
I'm sure like the nerds will figure it out anyway.
Great.
They'll read my lips or something.
But wait, you said it's not even a show.
And no, the idea right now is to do a movie. You know, but like that's the thing. Like right now, because of the strike, it's kind of like telephone. All the information like
wait, so I
coming
can
out.
be an information broker
Yes.
between you and the Walt Disney Company? Guys, they're doing a movie.
You gotta
Bob,
pretend like you
movie.
just got a text. I'm hearing. My sources are telling me.
So first of all, how cool is it to be Donald Glover's brother? And I had never seen. That's my first time seeing him, but
Me
what
too.
he looks like, and I see why. he doesn't look like Donald. He looks like it's a little unkempt. He looks like Tarzan version of Donald Glover.
Like we play brothers. Like we knew each other so long that we feel like
no
brothers. Yeah.
We love you, though, Steven. Yo, we should talk about you. We want you to come talk to us too. But I think that it's interesting because I didn't, until you said something, I didn't consider the likelihood that if Donald Glover does this project, which isn't like the original Solo story where he played the role of Lando Calrissian in a movie. This is a project that becomes Atlanta comes to Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, with we might see Cat Williams. We might see what was the dude's name? Teddy. Teddy. What's his name?
My man from Eternals. Brian. No. Go ahead. He's talking about Scars.
Oh, bro, you talking about Brian Tyree? Yeah. Brian Tyree. But
he got his.
Wasn't the Scars guard? The Scars guard was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah, the Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
Alexander. That was Alexander, I think.
Alex Scott. Yeah, but the notion of seeing like maybe even Lakeith.
I was about to say Lakeith Stanfield.
Like,
Yeah, we can see him. He'll be a young Mace Windu.
Yeah. Like, yo, I think I might be here for not just a Lando Calrissian's movie, but an Atlanta type of production with Lando Calrissian, which we're not going to get, unfortunately, because we just learned, as Steve and his brother says, it's looking like it's not going to be a series. It's going to be more of a movie. And I don't know Donald Glover. I don't know if Donald Glover's chops are as strong in the 2-hour theatrical department as they are in the 2-hour 6-episode series department. What do you think?
I think my skepticism is raised because the key word there was there's an idea. He said there's an idea for a thing. Yeah. And this interview was what, a year ago, you said?
Yeah. Or a year to the date.
Yeah, a year to the day, and we haven't really heard any buzz or anything in surrounding this. So it could have been an idea that they had and just kind of left on the shelf. And haven't really, just kind of left it there and it's like, oh, we may come back to it. Let's just see how things go with these other projects that we got going on. But my skepticism is raised as you heard, the Solo movie did lackluster numbers, although it was received.
Hold up, it bombed, is what he said.
Yeah. It said it bombed. Which, although there were fans that enjoyed it, they didn't enjoy it enough to buy tickets to go see it, and that for Disney is a recipe for not necessarily going and even entertaining the idea of it. So, again, I feel like this is a reach for Disney trying to capitalize on Donald Glover's success as Lando, and also as the other projects that he's already completed with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and seeing kind of the love and the accolades that came out of that series, as well as Atlanta and all of those kind of things. But I don't know that they're totally committed to
right.
Yeah, and that's what raises my skepticism. So that's I'm like, may or may not see this.
Let me give you some. Let me try to give you some. Let me try to spread some optimism.
Mm-hmm.
You just said they're trying to build off of Donald Glover's his star power right now.
Yes,
and yes, that is exactly what they should be doing, because it's not often that you have a popular black man who just released an album. By the way, if you haven't listened to it, I recommend it. It's actually pretty damn good. It's actually really good. It gives Drake without giving Drake, but it gives nerdcore without going too far and being like, I need all that stuff. It's oh man, it was the soundtrack to my summer. But Teddy Perkins, that's his name, Teddy Perkins. Thanks, Mike. Hello, what was the problem? No, I'm allergic to the light. I'm allergic to the light. So I think that to use Donald Glover now, and I meant it. Yes, use him. Use his star power. Use his nerdiness. Use his love of the Star Wars universe. Use his chops, his connections in Hollywood. Use his brother who knows how to write. Use his cinematic capabilities that he's shown. He has the ability to do so in not one but two series now. I think it's perfect timing for that. Danner, I think that Star Wars should not be limited to only what Star Wars, the bureaucratic, folks up in the Jedi Council seats, the Ron Howards and the Dave Filoni's, they should not be limited to just projects that they believe are going to be successful. They should give the driver's seat to somebody like a Donald Glover, who has an outside perspective, who has a different viewpoint. And if I'm being frank, I'm going to say this part will make Star Wars look different, because one of the few things that happened with Andor was it looked a lot different. It didn't come at us from the perspective of, oh, lonely lost planet. oh, poor person comes and becomes hero. Andor was an asshole. He started off killing people in that freaking series. He was not some savior, some well-known guy of high integrity. This was an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was a villain practically at the beginning of Andor. And the beauty of Andor was watching him come to the light out of the dark side. I mean, even though it wasn't technically the dark side defined by Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and he wasn't really a villain either. It like,
but
that,
he
like
was, but he killed. Remember, he killed them security guards like in the very
he
beginning.
killed
Like,
those security guards because they tried to extort him in the very beginning of the thing. They was like, he was caught in the alleyway. They were like, nah, you're not gonna pass unless you pay. Like, whatever. And then it was an accidental shooting. It wasn't like he just. It was like he whipped out and was like, oh no, it was a struggle. Somebody gets shot, boom, 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 whatever. But the idea that he was an asshole, he was a person who lived in the slums, who was again under imperialistic rule at the time, because like, this was someone who was fighting for his freedom. Even when he went to the planet to escape, and they taxed him they locked him up for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even do anything. And like, it doesn't matter, you're going to prison. It's like, yo, there was never a part where he was just evil. He was just like, I'm more for myself. I gotta look out for myself because that's all I've ever known, is kind of just looking out for myself.
Fair.
I'm an orphan.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, all right. I concede. Yeah, he wasn't necessarily evil, but he wasn't your quintessential hero depiction that you get in Star Wars. The humble beginnings, the no, I don't want to hurt anybody, the no, please just leave us alone. I was like, no, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, who the fuck is you? Like, pop, now let me go about my business. And like that, I think we need more of. And I think Star Wars should learn from the grittiness of Andor, the grittiness of Din Djarin and Mandalorian. I think that going in that direction will be helpful. And I also think that, frankly, not even just the fact that those folks aren't Jedi, but the fact that they are expanding the Star Wars universe is what makes them a little more interesting. I mean, let's just go back to the trailer I was just showing. Like, all the Star Wars shit. You see all the you got the freaking the Star Destroyers. You got your cities of you got everything that you get from Star Wars. The Rebel Alliance, all the planets, the lovely way that they depict all of these things in CGI. You can still have that shit. But it just doesn't have to be revolve around the Force. And if it does, it doesn't have to revolve around the Force necessarily as a benevolent force.
Yo, you mentioned all of the qualities and the things that go into good writing, and I don't feel like you have to exclude anything about the Force or even the Jedi. You just have to add them to that storyline without losing the story, without having to. Yeah, it can again. You don't, like you said, it doesn't have to revolve around it, and even if it does, make it make sense, like you did with Andor. They took their time with Andor. Like, let's be very clear.
Yeah, that's true.
They went from the very bottom and grew that rebellion up and basically showed you the layers in which this rebellion works and how it operates. And like, look, the rebellion wasn't just on no goody two shoes either. They were killing their own people. Like, let's be very clear. Like this. But you had all of those layers within the storyline that somebody in the writing room and the people in the writing room were like, okay, let's make this make sense. Let's make this make sense. Let's make this make sense. And that's where you get a good show like Andor. Why can't they do that with these other properties is my concern. Why are you not taking the same time and the same care to tell these stories? And that's why we're having these issues with these shows, because y'all are not doing that. For whatever reason, y'all are not doing that. So that's what we need to get back to. Good writing and good storytelling.
Another really good thing that Andor did that I don't think he gets credit for is it gave us the Cassian Andor origin story without dwelling on it so like that, you know, we saw him growing up on that planet. We saw his tribe. We saw his village, but it didn't consume so much of the show that you had to separate these two storylines, like kind of like they did with Acolyte, where it's like two things going on at once at the same time. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna give you glimpses of what happened with Cassian before he became the Andor he is now, but we're not gonna make it such a theme of the show that it has to expand. Like, you get it. Like, you know what I just realized? The writers of these two shows, Andor and Acolyte, have different levels of respect for the intellectual capacity of their viewers. Andor was catering to an intellectual viewership.
Cerebral. Yep. Very cerebral.
And Acolyte was catering to a shiny light, I just want to see anything Star Wars type of viewership. And I think that makes the difference. And I think that ultimately Andor season 2 is coming and Acolyte's not. And that is the way things go. That's all I got, man. I mean, is you have anything else you want to wrap? Because I definitely this weed ain't gonna smoke itself.
No, that's right. Now, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everybody in the comment section. Y'all have been on fire like y'all always are. We appreciate y'all showing up and showing the support that y'all are doing each and every week. Continue to do so. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit those those shares, those subscribe buttons, if you would, because it again helps our channel grow, helps us to continue to bring you the content, and just makes us feel good inside. So if you're all about making us feel good inside, go ahead, hit that button.
Yeah, hit that button, man, and make us feel good. Touch us on the inside part and call our name. What is it? It's freaking the monsters ball.
The disrespect is real.
That's the inside part. Call my name.
Yo, call my name. Call my name.
I want to real quick before we go, non-nerd related subject. I want to shout out the Cardinals for winning their last 5 games in a row. Three games in a row. All right, taking down the Dodgers. And taking down the Twins. Hallelujah. We took down the Dodgers. All right. Man. That's you, Shohei Ohtani. That's you, Mookie Betts. That's you, Oscar. That's you, Will Smith. That's all y'all. We took down the Dodgers, even though y'all got the best record, other than, you know what I'm saying, the Phillies and all them other guys. But that's the subject. That's a whole other podcast.
Way to play 500 baseball. Way to play 500 baseball.
Wow.
We still the team. At least they're not under 500.
We at 500. We'll wear it. We'll take what we can get. All right, guys. As we always say, look, thank y'all for tuning in. I want to shout out all of our counterparts who didn't get a chance to make it today. Once again, shout out to Nolly. Hope you feel better. Yes. Hope you're enjoying that vacay. Steph, hope you're not working too hard. Even Tyrone, who ain't seen in like a year, hope everything's going well with you. Cam, Tiffy, Omar, everybody who fucks with us, like, hope everything's going well with y'all. But as we always say, be your authentic self. If you're not being yourself, you're being fake. And in all things, whether you Yoda, Grogu, Mandalorian, whether or not you Sith, Jedi, or just a pansexual freaking like gambling, smuggling, Wookie, whatever the fuck you want. And all things you is, let that good old geek flag fly, my deuces.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass ninja with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga say clean.